We're going to look at the presets in Camera Raw. So here we are back in our image, and there's the effects tab we covered, and then there's camera calibration, and we'll come back and spend more time with that later, and I'll show you how to use the camera calibration. And the idea is that I can import data that allows me to calibrate my camera so that it's closer to the way the image looks through my lens. That takes some special settings that we'll have to come back and review later. In the camera calibration tab, I can just make adjustments to my image and do some interesting things with the color. That's not how this was designed to be used, but you can do lots of different things with these tools in here if you so desire. So that's not the real use for camera calibration, but I can come in and modify the shadows, the red primary, hue and saturation, green primary, hue and saturation, blue primary, green hue and saturation. I'm going to tab up and click Camera Raw Defaults. What we want to do is move on to presets. And so they've got some very interesting options here. Under color, I can come in and I can try one of these color settings like high contrast and detail, or vivid, and it automatically does an adjustment to my image. I'm going to turn that off by clicking the tab up here, going to Camera Raw Defaults, and I'm going to close color and go down to creative. So they have things like desaturated contrast, turquoise and red, vintage instant, and what you can do is start with one of these, then go back to your basic tab and make further adjustments. So you can start with one of those and then modify it. So you don't have to stick with that. You can actually use that as a place to jump off and then make more adjustments to the image as you see fit. I'm going to go up to the tab, hit Camera Raw Defaults. Let's go back to the presets. I'm going to close creative, black and white landscape, black and white with a punch, black and white flat, the old infrared, a sepia tone, a split tone. I'm going to turn those off by clicking Camera Raw Defaults, close black and white. So there's some preset curve adjustments, cross process, flat, lift shadows, strong S curve. We already learned how to make that S curve. So if I go over to my tone curve, and you'll see there's that S curve that we talked about earlier, right? Let's go back up to the tab, Camera Raw Defaults. Let's go back to presets. I'm going to close curve, grain, none, light, medium, and heavy. Pretty straightforward. So I can start with these presets and then go back and modify them. So it's a good place to use as a jumping off point. I'm going to reset. Sharpening, light, medium, heavy sharpening. I'm going to reset that. And then they've got some vignette options as well. Heavy, medium, light. Okay? So that basically covers all the tabs here. We went through the tools. We're going to come back. We're going to make a bunch of adjustments to images, overall images. We're going to fix a bunch of images, and then we're going to come back up and we're going to learn how to use the targeted adjustment, spot removal, adjustment brush, gradient filter, radial filter in upcoming sessions. Let's stop here.